Hey everybody, grilling season is here and I am so happy. You know, I'm fortunate enough that I live in Florida as my hometown, so I get to grill a lot year long. But even when I'm out in our other place in Colorado, I'm always missing that wonderful smell, aroma. You can use so many recipes on a griddle pan or a cast iron pan at home if you're in a cold weather climate. But now that hopefully we're all warming up, excuse me, I want to show you a few things. First of all, today we're going to be testing out something called grilling cheese. And I got an email and a press release and I thought, well, let's try it. And one is marinated. I'm used to using halloumi cheese, which will grill really beautifully, that Greek cheese. And it almost has, it takes on this taste of almost like a unsweetened French toast. So real fun. We serve it with some pine nuts, toasted pine nuts, and some sweet red peppers. So we'll do that out in the grill in a little bit. I love this idea. Southern Steer Butchers, which has sponsored both segments, they have take and bake bread. You know what he told me? Throw it right on the big green egg. So we're gonna do that when we go outside. Now I purchased their marinated steak tips, which are amazing. These are the steakhouse marinade, and they also have a mustard and sweet chili chicken thighs. Perfect place. They have what they call a tumbler, which means they put the meat inside and it tumbles for about 20 minutes, so it really soaks in the marinade. And if you are from New England, especially Boston, you know something like steak tips on a plate with a salad and fries, man, that's like 2 days a week, you gotta do that. If you're so inclined to just pick up some chicken thighs and you need a recipe for a quick sauce, I have 2 teaspoons of dry mustard, a little chopped shallots, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start to loosen it with a little red wine vinegar. You can also use apple cider vinegar, but you have to remember with apple cider vinegar, it is very pungent, and it would help if I took the lid off. There we go. I want you to do a high quality olive oil, okay? Now normally we don't want this too vinegary, so we're gonna do more oil than the vinegar. Oh, and I get that great mustard aroma. Let's add a little Indian curry seasoning, just a little bit, and just a pinch of cumin. And that cumin you have to be really careful of, folks. So many places and barbecue sauces and things like that put in too much cumin. So, ooh, it's coming together. I think we need a little salt and pepper. So let's get this stuff in there. Little seasoning. And voila. Now, depending on how we like the cheese is whether we want to serve our mustard sauce with it or not. So let's take everything out to the grill and find out what we do think about grilling cheese. I'm pretty excited, and I think it would go great with a hard cider or a craft beer. And then let's show you the techniques that bring out grilling season. Okay, I lit the big green egg, and basically it takes about 40 to 45 minutes. The coals are nice and white. They've really settled down. So I'm pretty excited about this because we are gonna test out literally a cheeseburger. That's right, we have cheese that we're gonna grill. So I also found out that the take and bakes that you get, the bread in the freezer section or the refrigerator section, and Southern Steer gave us this, can go right on the grill. And I'm so glad he told me that. It's a great way to heat up the bread. So one thing I wanna show you guys, see this? The fork? Get rid of it. Just get rid of it. If you pierce the meat, all the juice runs through. So like in anything, cheese, anything, that's what we have to be careful. So you're gonna use your spatula and tongs. Now, this is the marinated cheese. I took it out of the container. It said to put it in the metal tin, and it said it's gonna take about 4 to 5 minutes. So we'll see. Now this cheese is what they call the cheeseburger. What I love about, if we like it, if it tastes good, what I love about it is that your guests can have something right here to nibble on, and then we can cook the chicken thighs, the steak tips, and then if we want, we can grill some vegetables. So it's all dependent on the coals. Now, if you want to get a little higher when using the big green egg, whoops, I don't want to drop that one. Just close it. We make sure the vent is just slightly open, just slightly, and it is. And the temperature is going to start coming up now because we've encapsulated everything. So what I'll do is already, yeah, it's gone up 100 degrees. Can you believe that in what, 30 seconds? So let's take a peek and see where we're at. Oh, we're just starting to get the grill marks on it. So that's pretty cool. You can see real close, it's starting to sizzle. And I'll just keep turning the bread. We're getting some nice color on that as well. So we want to just move that around. I love working on the big green egg. Do you know that you can make a pie in here? I've put a pan of peach cobbler in here. I've made pizzas. I love it. I mean, it's the same as the ancient way of grilling, that it holds in the heat. And believe it or not, tomorrow morning, when I come out to let Norman out, this will still be hot. That's how intense they are. So I'm gonna just keep kind of turning the bread a little bit. And I can see where the hottest part of the coals are where we're really coming up, or right about there. And since I've never like just put cheese straight on a barbecue type of situation over coals, I'm gonna keep a little bit of extra sight on that. Now up here when you're grilling, if you have the dome grill, the big green egg or the Mongolian grill, up here is your little insulator. So you open it depending on what your temperature gauge is how much air we want to get in there, okay? We don't want it to flame up too much because this is the cheese and we're going up near 300 degrees. And I know I'm kind of antsy because I'm dying to try this cheese. Look at that cheese. Oh my gosh. This is just sizzly and it's going to be gooey with the bread. And I'm just going to let people just take the bread and just kind of tear it apart. And with this cheese, so it feels semi-soft right now. This baby's about to come out, and I'm just going to move the bread to the lower side. Always keep one little side. It's just a little less heat than where the flame is right here, okay? And then we'll have some grilled cheese. Okay, now you don't have to turn this over, but I want to show you how it's just melting into it, into the olive oil and the oregano. You serve that with the red peppers. Ooh, baby, it's going to be good. Okay, bread. Let's take that peppy off. Oh, this is getting a little brown on top. I'm liking this. Okay, so see that brown? That's exactly what you want. You don't want to kill it because it will eventually ooze down, but let's give it. It was at 300, it's back down to 200. Let's bring it back up to 300. A little air in the chimney space. You know what's great is when you get a grill, they come with the directions. Nowadays, a lot of them come with a videotape. Watch the DVR, okay? Watch that video because they give you some really great tips on what you're grilling and how to do it and the temperature-wise. Now look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh, I think this may work. I think this is just going to be exactly what we need for an appetizer. So I'm going to grab a plate. And then what you can do is you're serving all your guests while we're starting to load up the grill with the entree. So if you're like me, I'm just going to put this down. If you're like me, I can't wait. So let's tuck right in there. Ooh, the bread is really crispy. This is just how I want it. I just want to rip it off. And then let's try this cheeseburger. Oh, look at that. That is awesome. Fair assessment, the bonfire grilled cheeses are really good. Here's the one that's been marinated. So let's just dip a little bread in there. Don't worry, I'll fix it up before our guests come. In fact, I'm just gonna try the cheese without the bread. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. So this is something that I'm gonna be serving throughout the summer. It is the perfect opportunity to just get your guests to just enjoy the different cheeses instead of a cheese plate and just start grilling. So appetizers are done. So we'll see you in just a few minutes when we start grilling up on the big green egg. I love to cook on the big green egg. This segment is sponsored by Southern Steer Butchers. Now they are amazing over there, and they're especially known for their New England steak tips. You don't have to be from New England to know that marinated steak tips are just the best. So we're gonna put them on the grill first. I have both the Argentine flavor and the steakhouse flavor, which are two of their originals. And the neat thing about cooking with this is I had them, as they picked out the steak tips, I asked them, could we actually cook the chicken at the same time as the steak tips? And they said, absolutely. And often you can't do that. So now that you saw, you throw that fork right out of there because you don't want to pierce it. Spatula and tongs, okay? So now we're going to take the chicken. This chicken marinade they did in that mustard sauce, similar to what I just showed you, but also it has a little bit of that sweet heat Asian chili sauce. So it's kind of an international flavor. And as you can see, they're going to fit. You don't want to crowd the grill. That's the key, but they're going to fit right there. What I love about, if you have a gas grill, is I love that extra side burner because that's really going to help. So this extra chicken, we're not going to be able to fit on. That's okay. We'll go for a second round and go back in the fridge. So what I'm going to do, let's shut this. It's going to bring the temperature back up to about 350 degrees. We'll start getting a good flame, and then we'll check in on them, okay? Okay, feels like it's time. I've checked them a couple times. You don't have to babysit it too much. The coals are going down, you can see, so the flame is lower. Probably I could have put the steak tips on 5 minutes earlier, but you know, I'm not in a rush, and we've got Sammy here and Emily and Laura, and we're gonna have a great lunch. So I've got the chicken thighs. What I did was I put on these beautiful baby peppers. I love them. You can get them over at Yoder's produce stand, and they pop up real fast. They make a really nice addition. They're sweet because you're gonna have just a little pop of spice on this chicken. I think some of the steak tips are just about ready to come off as well. So we're gonna give the bigger ones probably about just 1 more minute, but you can, and I know it's a little hard to tell when you're grilling sometimes with red meat. Do not pierce it with that fork, and do not cut it open to see if they're done. We're gonna feel. We always do the feel. Yep, that's a good medium rare, just like you get that pinch right here. The softest part is rare, and you can go up, and that's how well done. Obviously shouldn't even be allowed. It should be outlawed. Well done. I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody, but that is important. When I first met Paul Gallagher, he used to eat in my restaurant, and he used to eat his steak well done. So when he asked me out for the first time, I said, I'd never date a man like you. And when I explained why, he switched to medium rare. Smart move. Both, he got the woman and he got the good steak. Well, there's our first grilling tips of the day. It's going to be a wonderful season. We're also going to do some grilling on a gas grill this summer, and some fun, unique desserts right on the grill. So it's going to all be delicious, but I got to feed the crew right now.